Hello, Charles.
Hey, Angela, welcome back to another video. And this week, what we're doing is that we're going to talk about coaching, which is the third and second to last leadership dimension that we're addressing in this mini series of videos we're doing.
Yes, great. I'm looking forward to it. Well, let's start, as we always do, with about explaining what coaching means to us through the lens of emotional intelligence. So, a leader who coaches effectively is really seen as a mentor for employee growth. And employees are really nurtured towards achieving their highest potential, really, and their highest level of performance. And when a leader uses these coaching skills, these are some of the outcomes that they can achieve.
Yes, and good coaches usually have good levels of emotional intelligence because the two concepts are closely tied together. When we look closer, we can see that there's six competencies of emotional intelligence that are attached to the coaching dimension from the framework itself. And it will come as no surprise to see that most of these competencies are attached in the self-expression and the interpersonal composite of the framework. Because good coaches have this ability to say that the right thing in the right way at the right time, and they've got this knack also of creating relationships with people quite easily. So for the purpose of this video today, we're going to focus on two competencies that we're going to talk a little bit more about. We've decided to pick reality testing first and then talk about empathy, which is a hot topic nowadays. So let's jump right in and talk about reality testing. So what reality testing is really your ability to be objective. It's your ability of seeing things around you as they truly are. So for a leader, what it means is that a leader that scores very high in reality testing has the ability to give clear, direct directions to their team. And even when it comes to their coaching practice, or maybe even when they give feedback in a performance management setting, that means that the feedback they're providing will be unbiased and it'll be grounded in evidence and facts. So that those two components like really important in terms of getting the long-term buy-in from your team for you as a coach or as a positional leader.
Yeah, awesome. And I agree. Reality testing shows up both in authenticity and coaching style, and it's really critical to success as a leader. So the next one we want to dig into is empathy. And this competency really lets the leader manage their relationship. And it's the medium that coach leaders use to transform their teams and really take the organization to new heights. Empathy is this ability to recognize, understand, and appreciate the way others feel at the moment. And it's really a critical part of building strong interpersonal relationships because without those relationships, it's really hard to build trust and psychological safety.
Yeah, and how can a leader coach use empathy in the day-to-day practice?
Well, because empathetic coaching and coach leaders understand how a team feels, it really enables them to see and take their feelings into consideration before acting. And remember, it's empathy, not sympathy. So it's amazing to see how this leader truly sees you as the individual and your emotions. And so let me position an example that might help. I had a VP who once worked for me several years ago, and call her Melissa, made up name. And her and I were discussing an employee issue that we needed to sit down to have a discussion with a team member. We can call him Dean, also made up. And we knew it was going to be a difficult discussion. It was a response to not a nice and a detrimental conversation that behavior that he displayed to a colleague in front of the team. And Melissa was super nervous and had to prep for the meeting and her word tracks. And we agreed that I would listen, but she would really take the lead. And Dean's behavior was out of the ordinary, and so we weren't sure what we would be faced with at the time. So when we met with Dean, the very first thing she asked him was if everything was okay. And it wasn't clearly. And with a couple more questions, she was able to get Dean to tell him that he had split with his partner. He was really having some personal challenges that were happening to him in that week. And, Melissa was really my hero that day. She looked at me and then she looked at him and didn't miss a beat and said, Dean, that's really tough and I'm really sorry to hear this. And why don't you take the rest of the day to go spend it with your family and do what you need to do. We've got you here and you can come back on Thursday and we could talk again. She did not push her agenda. She did not plow through her practice speech and think about herself. Which was impressive. Dean asked why we wanted to meet him and see him, and she decided in that moment that she was going to be the leader that she needed to be and lead with her heart, and told him not to worry, our discussion could wait until he felt better and that we would reschedule. And as I said, in that moment, she was really my hero because she didn't try to manage me as her leader. She met her employee where he needed her to be in that moment. And this didn't take away from the fact of her leader role and Melissa still having to address Dean's performance issue. Dean came back, was thankful for the time. He was really able to acknowledge his inappropriate behavior and, went about to set it straight with both the colleague and the team.
Wow, great example of empathy and how it helped her also in the in the long run of being able to address the behavior. So great, thanks for sharing, Angela. Well, this is all the time that we had for this week. So if you like what you see, if you like what you hear, don't forget to subscribe to our LinkedIn channel. Thanks, Angela.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.